Hello everyone, and welcome to my list of things you didn't know about Monster Hunter World, the base game. I've been playing this game for 3,000 hours, actually it's over 3,000 now, and to this day there are still random, strange things I learn about the game as I play, so let's see how many of these things are new to you as well. Let's get started. Number one's going to be an easy one. You can end a quest with the abandoned quest option, and the reason you're given this is because when you choose abandoned quest, it gives you back all the items that you spent in that quest. So if you ate mega potions, demon drugs, max potions, if you ate those, they just go back into your inventory. Now, I didn't know this till about 2,000 hours into the game. I don't know why, I just never clicked on it. And because Monster Hunter World was my first Monster Hunter game, I didn't know that the abandoned quest option is there to give you back your items. So I thought I'd go ahead and mention that for everyone else who might not know still, even if they don't want to admit it. Number two, you can travel directly to the training room and the gathering hub by opening up your map. This was one that a lot of players learned from my live streams. Basically, most players would go upstairs to their room, there'd be a loading screen for the room, and then they would go to the training room from their room, there would be a second loading screen, right? There'd be two loading screens. Well, you can just open your map, go straight to the gathering hub, or go straight to the training room. These days, it's not as big of a deal for me because I don't need to use the training room as often, but I still occasionally go to the gathering hub. Don't worry, the list does get better from here. I know these first two are kind of easy ones, but we got some juicy ones down the list. Number three, this is one I've been wanting to teach you guys for a while. You can hold left bumper to get the quest book to open up faster. This tip is so obscure, yet now that I know it, I can't not use it. Basically, when you talk to the handler or the quest girls in the gathering hub, there's a short animation where they open up the quest book, and you can significantly speed up this animation with the left bumper. Somehow Capcom knew we wouldn't want to watch these full animations go faster, so they coded into the game a fast forward button for one animation. It's so obscure and so strange, but at the same time, it's like once you know it, you just can't not use it. So that's number three. Number four, the mantles don't decay quite as fast if you stand still. So this one's actually a bit more practical. Mantles, of course, in this game are very overpowered. You got the Rocksteady mantle, you got the Temporal mantle. So that's right. If you put a mantle on and you stand perfectly still, it actually lasts much, much longer than it normally would. It still decays, but it decays much slower. What's crazy is that I knew this information from over a year ago when I was running tests on a hunting horn buff called Tool Use Drain Reduced. Back then I was using a stopwatch to measure how long the mantles lasted while the buff was active. And what was going on was I was getting inconsistent measurements, and I discovered what was going on was sometimes I would move my character around while I'm waiting for the stopwatch, and sometimes I would just have my character stand there. So why is this useful, knowing that the mantles don't decay when you stand still? It's useful because, let's say Temporal Mantle is so valuable that you can make more use of it by not strictly chasing your target. You can actually stand still sometimes and wait for the target to come to you. Number five, here's another better known secret in the game. 20 elemental resistance negates blights. The canteen does also, by the way, give you 15 elemental resist when you eat the vegetable ingredients, right? Okay, so this isn't quite as much of a secret as the other ones on this list, but every day I do another stream where we're trying to help people defeat a tough monster for the first time, and one of the least used skills I ever see are the elemental resist skills, yet getting that blight resistance against the monster you're fighting can be such a nice bit of defense that is one of the first things I think about when I'm putting together a mixed offense-defense build. So you have a lot of monsters who put you on fire, and that's actual damage, right? It just ticks down. And if you bring up your fire resist to 20, they can't do that anymore, right? The fire blight never gets applied to you. So keep that in mind, especially if you're a newer player. This is a tip for you. Number six, here's another tip, and this one's a bit more for even more advanced players who might not know this. Tip number six, weakness exploit only activates on a body part that has a hit zone value of 45 or higher. Ooh, and you can look up a monster's hit zone values, by the way. This is another really important general tip in the game that I feel is worth repeating. So weakness exploit is a skill that's arguably the strongest skill in the game. It raises your affinity by 50% at weakness exploit 3, and of course you should always bring it up to weakness exploit 3. But the trick is it only works on certain body parts. You can go look those body parts up on a website like Palico Party to see what their hit zone values are, and you're looking for hit zone values of 45. And keep in mind, some monsters, their hit zone values actually change. So like Kulvatiroth, Her mantle, her golden mantle, will have bad his own values for pretty much everything until it glows red and the his own values change, and all of a sudden weakness exploit works for hammers and for sever weapons, right? So that's another really important tip. I just wanted to make sure more people knew about it. Number 7. All right, back to the weird stuff. Did you know that insect glaive can actually hold onto walls? I have no idea what the practical use of this one is. I can do it, but there's just, I don't know, I'd rather be attacking the monster, I guess. If you want to try this out, go ahead and jump toward a wall and keep your joystick tilted into the wall, and you should cling onto it and look like, I don't know, a ninja anime character. But yeah, so insect glaives can hold onto walls for some reason. Alright, and here's another hidden but very useful mechanic in the game for a defensive skill called Guts and Feline Moxie. Feline Moxie is the canteen version of Guts. With Guts, for each of your lives, you'll have this life threshold. If the monster breaks that threshold in their next move, rather than dying, you have 1 HP left. And Feline Moxie works the same way, but it only activates once and then it's gone. You don't get it for each life. Well, the thing is, they stack, and there would be no way to know this unless you went out and tested it, because you can't visually see that they're stacked on top of each other. This was a really interesting tip that we learned when Arch-Tempered Nergigante came out. Arch-Tempered Nergigante is so tough that we've been looking for new ways to survive them, and one of the tricks has been to stack Guts and Moxie on top of each other. Considering Iceborne is supposed to be tougher than the base game of Monster Hunter World, I'm sure we'll be seeing Guts again and Feline Moxie again in the future. Oh, save me! Save me! Oh. Look at that, guys. So we actually had 2 of our lives saved now. I'll play more careful now, of course, too. We had 1 life saved by Moxie and 1 life saved by Guts. Really think about what that means. That's a lot of lives to be not spending. Number 9's a pretty fun one. I think you guys are going to appreciate this. Number 9 is you can climb the droppable rock in the ancient forest. I didn't discover this one until I was fully 3,000 hours into the game, and it basically happened by accident. I was going to use a jump attack from a wedge beetle in order to knock down the large droppable boulder onto the ancient leshen. Ancient leshen is one of my most fought endgame fights. So imagine my surprise when my character actually grabs onto the side of the ledge. Right, there's little vines there, you can grab them. It was one of the wildest moments of my entire Monster Hunter World career. I couldn't believe it. It makes me wonder what else there is in the game that I still don't know about. I also learned you can make the rock fall by attacking the vines while you're standing on top of it. So if you've never tried this, you can definitely try it from the Ancient Leshen fight, so you can test it out there, or you can just run into the Ancient Forest on your own and test it. I think it's more fun if the Ancient Leshen's beneath you, so that you can climb on top of it and then drop the boulder on top of it. It's so funny. Number 10, use your Slinger Pod ammo to end a monster mount sooner. This is another trick players have been learning from my live streams, but I suspect is still relatively unknown. Basically, when the monster isn't flinched and you're mounted, what you can do is you can use your Slinger Pod, and certain Slinger Pods are able to cause flinches very quickly, and this leads to the end of the mounting minigame. The pods that seem to work the best are the Scatternut, Slinger Bombs, and especially the Crystal Burst. 2 shots should end the mounting minigame, and then you can deal your finishing blow. This trick is so good for multiplayer because it stops the monster from running around so much, which is so annoying about the mounts. And when you can kind of control the monster and stop him from running around so much, it lets your teammates stay around the monster and keep beating up on him while you're mounted. Alright, and finally number 11. There's an incredibly rare fish called a great blue martin. How rare is this fish? I've played over 3,000 hours, and I've only seen it once. In fact, I just found him the other day, and I knew I had to add it to this list. When I first ran into it, I thought the great blue martin was just some kind of background sprite I'd never noticed before. Imagine my surprise when I actually caught one. So let me know, have you ever seen a great blue martin before? To tell you the truth, I didn't even know that there was a regular blue martin. That's how rare this fish was for me. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention. Maybe I don't go fishing enough. But for me, it was incredibly rare. And that's the end of this list. If there's something in here that you've never heard of, or something new you discovered because of me, consider leaving a like on the video. I would definitely appreciate it. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.